Greetings, Detroit. You're watching Lions News Fan Report. Clear information, real context, no fluff. If you live in Honolulu Blue, hit subscribe and tap the bell now, because tonight's update ties months of quiet conversations to a move that reshapes the middle of the pocket when the weather turns mean. Inside the building, the tone already shifted. Detroit is moving to bring in Will Hernandez to plant an anchor at guard and make third downs feel shorter. Stay with me, because you'll get the full arc. How this went from end-of-season self-scout to green light, why the staff has circled this profile more than once, what it looks like on third and medium, low red, and 4-minute, what it means for the cap and rotation, and the tight calendar as the 53 locks in this week. This isn't a stray headline, it's dots finally connecting. Rewind to the post-mortem after last season. In those long nights of self-scout, 2 notes kept landing on the whiteboard. On money downs, simulated pressures and tackle-end games were denting the pocket through the guard center seam. In short yardage, duo and inside zone were missing that. Extra half yard of knockback against heavy fronts. The translation was adult and simple. You can chip, slide, and scheme your way through October. You win January with a guard who doesn't need babysitting. The historical flirt started earlier than most remember. Back in his Giants days, Detroit's pro staff logged Hernandez as follow closely because of the way he plays through contact. Heavy hands, stubborn anchor, enough range to sort games, and because his temperament fit what this locker room values when drives get grimy. When he moved on and stacked more starting tape, the Lions kept him in the ready file. The theme across cycles was always the same. If a window opens and the price lives in the sane band, be first in the room. Fast forward to the winter meetings after last season's run. While draft prep ramped, quiet check-ins happened. Not a negotiation, just the routine temperature reads teams do on veterans they respect. The question Detroit kept asking the tape and each other was a consistent one. Will a proven guard, who holds up inside, let the offense call the same plays with fewer helpers? Every answer pushed the staff back to the same profile. Spring and early summer turned that profile into a plan. Coaches outlined how the fit works in this offense. Bully the line on duo and inside zone, sell the same surfaces into play action, and protect from the inside out so the quarterback lives at 9.5 yards instead of drifting off the spot. You don't need a superhero. You need a guard who keeps the A-gaps quiet and finishes doubles on time. Hernandez's tape kept checking those boxes. Then came camp and the roster clock. Depth at tackle took its own path. The interior competed. Hard. And the staff's message never changed. Keep the pocket firm down Main Street and make the 4-minute drill boring again. Cut down week concentrates everything. Around the league, this is when veteran availability, health ramps, and cap chess meet. That's why a move for an interior adult reads less like a luxury and more like finishing the room with the piece you planned to add when the window turned. So what are you buying on the field? 3 TV simple frames tell most of the story. Frame 1. 3rd and 6 double mug look. The defense walks both backers up and spins a tackle end twist to the guard side. Hernandez sets square, catches the looper on his near pec with inside hand leverage, keeps the center's hip clean, and gives the quarterback a climb lane instead of a bailout lane. Ball out on time, chains move. That's how you delete the almost sack. That December doesn't forgive. Frame 2. Low red zone, tight surface, duo called. Double-double to the mic. Hernandez and the tackle dent the 3-tech 2 yards deep. The back plants off the inside hip, and you get the kind of boring, beautiful touchdown January teams live on. Nobody tweets about it. Everybody remembers. The score. Frame 3. 4-minute. The whole stadium knows run. The front slants, the linebacker spikes late into the B-gap. Hernandez short sets the spike, absorbs with low pads, then snaps back to catch the blitzer and reopen the crease. It's 8 yards, a timeout burned, and a sideline that looks a year older in a good way. There's more than the highlight frames. In protection, a veteran guard shortens sentence length. Same calls, fewer echoes, cleaner pickups. Games with the center hit on the same step. The young guard on the other side plays faster because he isn't compensating for pressure bleeding from the seam. The tackles set wider without fear of inside leakage. Tight ends rejoin the route tree instead of living as permanent bodyguards. Coordinators call the sheet with a steadier hand when first-level movement doesn't panic the spot. Scheme fit is straight line. This offense asks its guards to snatch and trap when pictures change, refit doubles on the second step, and sort. Simulated pressure without chasing ghosts. Hernandez's calling card has always been pad level and stubborn finish. When defenses throw those third and medium games to muddy the read, he sits, passes, and punishes late crossers instead of drifting toward trouble. Let's talk timeline the way fans deserve to hear it. End-of-season self-scout identified the pain. Winter wrote the profile. Spring found tape that matched. Early summer aligned cap and roll. Camp and cut down compressed the moment. And now, with the 53 locking and practice windows opening, the move becomes execution. Travel, medicals, pen, photos, install. Week 1 is language. How Detroit names what he already does. Week 2 folds him into protection families he'll live in on third down. Week 3 scales the run game asks by opponent and lengthens series counts as conditioning stacks. No. Stunts for cameras. Just the adult onboarding that shows up on Sundays. Money always matters, and here it's about function, not fireworks. Veteran structure, sane guarantees, playtime and postseason triggers, paying for availability, and impact, not a poster. The move lives inside the cap plan for the core and the draft class while keeping oxygen for the inevitable mid-season need. You don't rob Peter on defense to pay Paul on offense. You add a piece that raises the floor of every call. Risks exist, and pretending otherwise would be lazy. He's coming off a ramp that has to be respected. Any interior lineman faces soft tissue windows when volume jumps. Language takes a minute to become instinct. The mitigation is built into the plan. Early snap counts that build rather than spike opponent-specific run asks, and a protection menu that starts with what he does best. The staff isn't trying to win August headlines. It's trying to win January downs. There is also the human piece, the one cameras don't show, but every locker room feels. Plug an experienced pro into a room with ascending players and practice habits sharpened by themselves. Individual period hand fights get crisp. Half-line games run at real speed. The young interior guys get daily reps of what on-time looks and feels like. Leaders don't have to speech that into existence. They demonstrate it. What changes for the rest of the roster? Less than the rumor mill will tell you. And exactly what the coaches want. A promising guard can develop on sane snaps instead of living on an island against every third down chef the league rolls out. The center's calls land because pockets don't warp at the edges of the A-gaps. Backs turn check-throughs into real outlets instead of emergency flares. Play action gains the extra heartbeat that keeps intermediate windows alive, and the quarterback rediscovers the comfort of stepping up into space, not traffic. Zoom out, and you see why this flirt kept surviving time. Early interest when he was in New York, respect for the way he fights through contact, renewed attention as he stacked more starts, periodic check-ins when the calendar made sense, and finally a cap window that matched football need. Fits that survive time usually cross the finish line when the moment lines up. That's what this feels like. Drop your take in the comments. Would you lock him to the right side to cement duo and inside zone? Or would you open the cross-train door so the best 5 are always on the field? Does this change your confidence? On third down against the best simulated pressure teams on the schedule, or would you have spent the capital elsewhere? Your read shapes the film room breakdown we'll run as soon as the first snaps hit, and as we always do, only here at the end, the disclosure that keeps this community honest. This episode lives inside our rumors and speculation window built on internal signals, football logic, and a long memory of how these rooms build. My personal read is simple and firm. A grown man guard who keeps the A-gaps quiet doesn't just add push. He gives the coordinator a calm button and turns December into the kind of boring that wins in January.